This is the first in a series of films in a new partnership between Newts and ShowStudio.com.
So ShowStudio started 8 years ago, really for a combination of four main reasons. The first was the idea of a two-way audience. The internet, the interactivity became something that wasn't possible in print. So we wanted to do something that actually dealt with the audience as part of the making of the piece of work. Secondly, the idea of process. In my belief, it's better to show the process of making a piece of work. It's probably better for the artist, for the audience, and for the art itself to show the process of creating every step along the way, from conception to completion. Reason number three would be performance. I feel that when you're photographing or filming somebody, your physical performance is exciting and important, and I wanted to try and show that because I thought it was something that really wasn't getting seen. If you imagine how Alexander McQueen cuts a dress, well, nobody really ever sees that. And then lastly, and perhaps most importantly, the internet provided a new medium, that of fashion film. And the idea of creating fashion film, if you want, inventing fashion film for this new medium, became one of the main reasons to do ShowStudio. It's a very exciting thing to watch a model move in clothes. I remember watching Naomi Campbell in a red coat by Yohji Yamamoto, and she was listening to Prince. She asked us to put a tape on that had been, you can tell how long ago it was, she asked us to put a tape on that she'd just been given by Prince. She put it on and she played it, and she moved up and down on a piece of perspex wearing a bright red Yohji Yamamoto coat. Now, just to see that as a piece of film was amazing, to actually live and see that actually unfolding in front of my eyes. It's from that moment onwards I was convinced that actually fashion should really be seen in movement and not just as still. I feel the energy on a shoot when you actually see these girls walk in the clothes. The idea of just reducing everything down to one moment when it's clear that there's something else we got there, and combining those movements as amazing pieces of clothing. When they're spinning around, when they're moving, when the wind's on them, you just see small or extended kind of moments of extreme beauty. And it doesn't just come down to one image. And of course, when you couple that with sound, when you have the whole idea of the medium of sound and motion together, it's very powerful emotionally. You have to imagine what it's like. The set's white, I'm waiting for the model to come down. She comes down and she's wearing, for instance, when we photographed Fantasia, she's wearing a red dress by Galliano. It's covered in Diwali, red Diwali powder. To see her walk onto set with the powder wafting off as the dress moves, it's a really beautiful moment, and it can really best be expressed in fashion film. What I'm talking about here in fashion film isn't the backstage films. These aren't making-ofs. These are like editorial fashion stories. These are pieces of film where you're free to create a statement about fashion. They have all the values an editorial story does, that you're just using the most inventive ways of showing a marvellous piece of fashion moving. Actually seeing a piece of clothing in movement is what we're doing. Fashion film is the most exciting medium of this moment, and ShowStudio is a place to see it and its new stars.